What up, schooligans? What up, schooligans? What up, schooligans? It's Jennifer, and welcome back to another back to school video on my channel. Also, welcome back to Elos. Today, I'm gonna be showing you guys a couple of different aesthetic DIY school supplies. They're mainly just ways to decorate your school supplies to make them look cuter, more VSCO girl vibes. Also, because back to school season is kind of a sad time for some of you guys, I'm gonna be doing a giveaway at the end of this video where you can possibly win some of the things that I made in this video and also maybe a Polaroid camera. So without further ado, let's get started.
Hi, I just woke up so I look really good. So I'm currently editing this video and I'm realizing that I sound very freaking dead, and it's because I was filming this at like midnight. It's not because I'm not interested. I was just very tired and I thought that I sounded like upbeat, but I sound like I'm about to go into my final exams. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, the first DIY I'm going to show you guys is a way to make your laptop super aesthetically pleasing and VSCO girl vibes. This is legitimately the exact same thing I said in the intro. Anyway. Okay, so I'm gonna start out with just my laptop, obviously, and the idea here is to basically create a Polaroid wall on my laptop. So I just threw on a bunch of Polaroids that I've taken over the years, and I added some painter's tape to the back of each one so that I could stick it onto my laptop without damaging it. I got this idea because I was thinking about what basic VSCO girls do to decorate, and I was like, oh, a Polaroid wall, perfect. I was like, how can I decorate some school supplies with this idea? And I came up with this. So basically I just took all of my Polaroids and kind of organized them on my laptop. It's kind of like a mosaic, so you gotta rotate the Polaroids around to see what fits, what looks cute, and in the end, this is what mine looked like. I think it's really cute, and I also bought this clear laptop cover just to encase the Polaroids so that they don't fall off, and I think it looks really cute. If you don't have a Polaroid camera though, don't worry because I'm filming. Jeremy, can you get out, please? Anyway, if you don't have a Polaroid camera, don't worry because I'm gonna show you guys a different way to recreate this, but actually cuter. Even cuter than that. Basically, the idea is to make mini Polaroid pictures and do the exact same thing. I'm gonna show you guys how to edit your pictures to make it look like it was taken on a Polaroid camera or a Fujifilm camera. I learned how to edit like this from a YouTube video. I will link it down below if you want a more in-depth talk through, but I'll show you guys the gist of what I did. Okay, so you're gonna need the app Lightroom on your phone. It's free, you don't need an account. The photos that are gonna turn out the best and looking like actual Polaroid pictures are ones taken with flash. So for example, like this one, this is the before and this is the after. Flash photos are going to be your best friend, but this edit does work on non-flash photos. It just doesn't look as good. Like this one wasn't taken with flash, but it turned out decently. So I'm just gonna show you guys how I edited this. Okay, so I'm gonna use this picture and I'm gonna start with light, go to curve. I'm gonna bring up that bottom circle up pretty high and then I'm going to just adjust these. So that's what it's looking like right now. So it kind of just brings up the blacks, makes it a little bit faded. Now moving on to exposure, this one is already pretty dark, but I'm gonna darken it a little bit, so bump the exposure down to like 0.23. But this one really depends on your picture. And then I'm gonna bump the contrast up a bunch to 18. Actually, I'm gonna go down on the exposure a little bit more. Highlights I'm gonna bring down. Okay, cool. And then I'm gonna bring down the shadows a little bit. This one's already pretty dark, so I don't need to do that much. Gonna bring up the whites so it enhances the flash, and then bring down the black. So currently this is what it's looking like. Now I'm going to color and I'm bringing down the temperature a little bit down to like -7 is pretty good. And then I'm gonna go to and then I'm gonna go to saturation and bring it down a ton. 25 is good. Then I'm gonna go into colors and go to orange and bring up the saturation on that and also the luminance a little bit to enhance the flash. Then I'm gonna go to the cyan and desaturate it completely, and also for the greens I'm gonna desaturate that completely. Moving on to effects, I'm going to bring down the clarity a little bit and then also bring down the dehaze a little bit as well, like -21. And then I'm gonna do a black vignette to about like -16. Moving on to detail, I'm going to turn on the grain to like 40-ish. Bring up the size of that to like 53 looks good. And then bring up the roughness slightly. Okay, now moving on to split toning, I'm going to move the highlights to like 251, saturate that to like 31-ish. And then for shadows, I'm gonna pull this into 95, looks good. All right, and then it's looking pretty good. That's looking pretty good. So this is the before, and then this is the after. And if you wanna make this a preset, you can press create preset, or you can press copy settings and paste that to any photo. So I already have this preset, so I can apply this to all the photos that I want to print out. So I use this Polaroid preset, and that's looking pretty good. So I just apply that to all the photos. So after I've edited all of my photos, it's time to make the actual Polaroids. So I searched on Google for a Polaroid frame, and specifically I was looking for the size that Instax prints out, and you want to search for PNG, which means that the background is transparent, and also the little rectangle in the middle of the Polaroid is also transparent. After I found a good one, I dragged it into PicMonkey, and then I dragged in my picture that I wanted to be in the Polaroid and placed it behind the Polaroid frame so that it looks like it's an actual Polaroid picture. After putting it in the frame, you can continue editing the photo to make it look realistic. For this one, I thought it was a little bit too saturated, so I desaturated it a bit. After that, I just proceeded to save the photo, and you want to do that for every single photo that you want to print out, and it is a little bit tedious and takes a little bit of time, but it's also fun to look through the pictures that you've taken over the years and kind of reminisce. After I've made all of my Polaroids, I dragged them into an 8.5 by 11 size document so that I can print it directly and not have to drag it into a Word document. I lined them up pretty close to each other just so that it would be easy to cut, and I could just cut straight down. PicMonkey has some really cool features so that you can line stuff up really easily. Not sponsored, but PicMonkey, please sponsor me, because I've been using you guys for like 5 years and like I'm kind of your biggest fan. Anyway, so once I was finished, I went ahead and printed that out, and this is what my Polaroids are looking like on real physical paper. And then I'm taking my scissors and just carefully cutting each of them out. Once you're finished cutting, you should have a bunch of little mini Polaroids, which I think is so freaking cute. I think mini things have a special place in my heart. Anyway, I brought over my laptop, and now it is time to collage it up, I guess. After I have my whole pattern laid out, I'm gonna start taping the pictures down to my laptop. So I'm just using some clear tape, and I'm not using the painter's tape just because this paper is pretty thin. I was afraid that you would be able to see the green from the front, but I just proceeded to tape every piece of what the frick am I trying to say? I proceeded to tape every single picture down to the laptop. Once everything was securely taped down, I just encased the whole thing with my clear laptop cover, and you are good to go. I think this is literally so cute and aesthetically pleasing. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this before. I've definitely seen collages on laptop covers, but I don't think I've ever seen like a Polaroid wall type of deal on a laptop, so hopefully I'm being original. To customize it even more, you can also write in little captions on the white bar like you would for an actual Polaroid, but I just left it like this because I think it looks more clean. I have this on my laptop right now, and I get so many compliments on this. The next couple DIYs are DIY notebooks. The first notebook I'm going to show you guys how to decorate is actually a 5-star notebook. This one is black and it has a plastic cover. I actually got a bunch of questions on how to decorate these kinds of plastic cover notebooks because you can't exactly glue stuff onto them. It'll just come right off. So here is a cute way to decorate your 5-star notebooks. Okay, so I started out by printing out a bunch of peaches of different sizes. I'll link this document below that I made, and I cut them out with my scissors. This is optional, but if you do have a black 5-star notebook, you can use a Sharpie to cover the white logo. If not, it's not a big deal because we will be covering that with our little stickers in a bit. Now I'm gonna take my peaches and basically lay them around the notebook in a design that I think looks good. I'm using the peaches to cover up where the original logos were. I spaced them out kind of randomly so that it would look natural. For any of the peaches that hang off the side, I cut those where they landed on the edge, and for this one I just cut it in half, put one half on the left side and put the other half on the right side. Now time to attach the peaches to the notebook. In order to do that, I'm gonna use some clear tape to make some stickers. I've showed you guys how to make stickers before, but here is a little recap. So I'm placing the tape onto the peach, securing it down. After that, I took one of the peaches, and basically what you want to do is cut a border around the peach so that you have enough of the sticker material to stick it down to the notebook. Once that was all cut out, I just attached it to the notebook where it originally was, and it's super easy and looks pretty legit. You obviously can choose whatever graphic that you want. You can also draw the graphic out. Okay, so I just continued cutting out all of the stickers for each of the peaches, and after I stuck all of them down to the notebook, this is what it looked like, and I think it's pretty cute. I'm gonna be honest, they do look like butts when the notebook is upside down, but you know, it's still cute. Okay, so for the next notebook, I'm taking a piece of light blue cardstock and I'm tracing the cover onto the cardstock. And this piece of cardstock is eventually going to be glued onto the cover, so it needs to be very exact. I traced that out and cut that out with my scissors. All right, once I have my piece of paper cut to size, basically what I'm gonna do is paint on a sunflower. Or I thought it was a sunflower, but I don't think it is, but also it kind of looks like a sunflower. Anyway, so I just squeezed out some yellow paint and started to paint some strokes for the petals of the sunflower, and you can see that I did sketch out the pattern beforehand with a pencil because I am not that talented to literally just go freehand. Now I'm going in with a darker shade of yellow, more orangey, and I'm using this to shade the flower. Honestly, I really don't know what I'm doing. I kind of am just trying to paint as close to the source image as possible. Okay, after shading for a little bit, I went ahead and filled the middle of the flower with that darker yellow orange type of thing. Honestly, I don't know why, but when I was painting this, I thought it looked a lot uglier than it actually is. It's actually not that bad. After that, I went ahead and grabbed some black paint to fill in the seeds of the flower. So I concentrated it in the middle of the flower and then made more lighter black dots around that. And I just used a stippling technique with a paintbrush that kind of is sparse and it gives that really dotty effect. After a while, I got kind of frustrated because I was like, this looks straight up ugly. So I ended up using my pencil to shade some parts of the flower because I'm more used to drawing. I just used my pencil to make the shading more precise. Okay, after I was finally done with the flower portion, I moved on to the stems. So I grabbed some green paint and I just drew a stem for the middle flower, and the thickness of the stem obviously depends on how big the flower is. So the main one obviously has a bigger stem than the rest of them. After my main green part of the stem, I went in with a lighter green to shade the stems. I added the lighter shade on the left side of the stems. Then with my darker green, which I just mixed black into, I started painting on the base of the flowers, which kind of just looks like grass, I guess. It just flicks up at the top. I also used the same shade to shade the stems, so I added this to the right side of the stem and also on one of the leaves underneath the flower. So I continued shading throughout the entire painting, and once I was done with that and let it dry, it was ready to be attached to the notebook. So before I can attach the painting to the notebook, I mixed up a light blue paint and painted the edge with that. Once that was dry and looked like it was about the same color as the paper, it was time to attach the painting to the cover. So I took some E6000 glue because I found that regular stick glue kind of doesn't cut it. I mean, it works, but just to be sure, I used some heavy duty glue and spread that all over the front cover. After that, I just took my painting and I stuck it down to the notebook, and there you go. Okay, this last notebook cover is literally the easiest cover that you will ever encounter in your entire life. So I took another piece of cardstock and I'm doing the same thing as last time by measuring the cover, tracing it out, and cutting it out with my scissors. Okay, so for this, I took a black fine liner. You can just use a regular old pen, and I'm drawing a bunch of hearts on the paper, and I'm drawing them in columns so that they'll kind of line up, but you can actually draw the hearts just randomly if you want to. That is also a cute look. I just wanted to stay a little bit organized because I kind of freak out if it looks messy. So each row is kind of staggered from the previous one. I wanted to go one step further since I felt like it was a little bit too simple, and I just shaded in some of the hearts with my fine liner to make them black. This was random, but I wanted them to be spaced out enough. So I would recommend choosing hearts that are a little bit far from each other. Just make sure that you don't color in hearts that are right next to each other. And that is literally it. All I have to do now is just paint the spine of the notebook if you choose to do so. Let that dry and then just glue that cover onto the notebook. And you are pretty much good to go. Super simple, really cute, and really easy. And those are all the DIY supplies in this video. Hope you guys enjoyed coming along with me. Now let's move on to the little giveaway. So I decided to give away the two smaller notebooks that I made. So we have the daisy, sunflower, yellow flower, whatever flower this is, notebook that I painted, and then also the hearts notebook. And also a Polaroid camera, because obviously I showed you guys how to use the Polaroids in the first DIY. So if you don't have one, here's a chance for you to win one. This is an Instax Mini 9. Is it Insta-X or Instax? I really don't know. This one is in the smoky white color and it's cute. I'm also gonna throw in a pack of film, obviously, so that you can take pictures and whatnot. And if you want to win this giveaway, all you have to do is be subscribed to this channel, JENerationDIY, and comment down below what your favorite subject in school is, and also include in your comment a way for me to contact you in case you win. So that could be like an Instagram or Twitter handle or your email. And if you would like to, you can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at JENerationDIY, because it's a fun time, I think. Well, you can see for yourself. That is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Shout out of the week is right here, and I will see you guys next time. Bye! Waking up in the morning, I can't remember your